And even beyond that, God expects us to live His word. See, this is no good. We ain't quite meeting it if we just know the word. We're not quite meeting it if we just read the word. We may walk around here quoting scriptures like Psalm 125:5 and something says this, that, no. We may walk around here and be able to quote it, but God says, I want you to go beyond quote it and I want you to live it. They devoted themselves to prayer. And wow, this came to me, and I said, you know what? God does. He says, bring and cast your cares upon me because I care for you. God says, make your requests made known unto me. But listen, prayer is a way of communication. And if I had an easel up here to draw a picture for you, I'd want to show this to you visually, but I would draw person number 1, and I would draw person number 2, and then I would draw arrows from 1 to 2. And the arrows would represent the transmission of information going from person number 1 to person number 2. Communication. I call it one-sided communication. It might be another name for it. I'll ask my wife later. But the communication from 1 unto 2, which is what we do when we go to God and we take our request and we cast our cares upon Him and we lay all our things at His feet. God tells us to do that. But I said, oh my God, what would happen if we allowed some communication to go back from person number 2 to person number 1? We got some communication going on there. See, listen, I thought back to the days before my wife and I got married, and our primary mode of communication was the phone. And I used to call my wife, and we would communicate back and forth. Back and forth, we communicated. And there would be a lot of different reasons that I would call her. Sometimes I call her and say, hey, what are you doing? What do you want to do? What would you like to do? Just the reason that I would call her. Sometimes I call just to talk to her. Now there was other times I'd probably talk to her about 3 or 4 times that day anyway, that I was calling and I really didn't want nothing, but I was just calling just to hear her voice. Somebody get that? I didn't want nothing. I wasn't calling her. I just wanted to hear her voice. And when I thought about communication, I thought to myself, what a wonderful thing that could happen if we just took prayer beyond just taking our things to God and giving them over to Him. But if we allowed some communication to take place back and forth, if we call God and say, God, what can I do for you? God, what do you want me to do? God, where should I go? God, where should I be? I'll see, but it get even better than that. What if I just called God just because I wanted to hear His voice? They were devoted to one another. The word tells us that they sold their possessions. And that they understood that the thing that God had blessed them with was not just for them. I remember, Pastor, we went to one of the manpower conferences. Thank you. Manpower conference. And there was a brother with us. And his quote wasn't nothing but this every place we went. Be a blessing. Be a blessing. God didn't just bless you with all the things that He blessed you with for you to hold on to, but God says there are some needs that need to be met of my people, and I blessed you so that you can bless someone else. I need you to be a blessing. How is it that there are people that are in the church who have needs that are not being met? When you're sitting on piles and piles of this.